To this story, the community of Mkondo in Mpumalanga is set to march to the local police station. This following the assassination of an ANC leader. Muzi Manyati was shot dead 2 weeks ago. The community is calling for urgent intervention from the police as they believe political killings are on the rise. eNCA's Moloko Moloto is in Mkondo and he joins us live with the very latest. Good morning, Moloko. So the community of Mkondo is of the view that political killings are on the rise in that area. Talk to us about this.
Hello, Mfundo. Indeed, Muzi Manyati, who was the deputy chairperson of the ANC in this Khartsibande region, was gunned down right at this filling station, and we understand that he was killed in a hail of bullets and he died on the scene. I just am going to ask my colleague to show you, these are the members of the ANC in this particular district, and they are converging here. They are saying they are going to be marching both to the offices of the provincial government, also to the municipality of Mkondo, but they will also be handing over a memorandum of demands to the South African Police Services. But let me bring into the conversation Mr. Lucky Zita. He is the Deputy Provincial Chairperson of the ANC Youth League. Lucky, thank you so much for your time. Tell us what you aim to achieve as members of the Youth League and the ANC today.
Can you do your work?
No, thank you very much, Moloko. What basically made us to call this march is because a lot has been happening in this municipality. There's been extremely many killings.
Okay, yeah.
This of Manyati is just one. There are many people who have been killed in this particular area. The Minister of Police, Comrade Bektele, came down here. He promised that within 4 days there'll be a serious progress and see to it that all these issues are resolved. But it is almost 6 months now. Nothing has happened. It cannot be that members of the community, not necessarily of the ANC per se, but members of the community must have to live in fear because of hooligans and mafias. It is very disturbing because these killings are linked to the municipality, are linked to the politics of the municipality.
You're saying that the community must not live in fear because of hooligans and mafias. Just what is the threat, the seriousness of the threat, that beyond Manyati there could be other people, particularly political activists, who could be killed?
As I've already mentioned, that Manyati is but one. He's not the first to be killed here. There are many people who lost their lives here in the same manner in which Manyati lost his life. So it is quite disturbing that the Minister of Police came here and promised that there is something which will be done, but nothing that has been forthcoming. And it tends to be directly incorrect because the main purpose of that ministry is to ensure that perpetrators are brought to book.
In the main, in your memorandum of demands, what specifically, what type of action do you want to see happening?
Firstly, we are calling upon for a forensic investigation into Mkondo municipality because the aim of the municipality is service community. It cannot be that the municipality is used as a cash cow by individuals, whom then when people come to speak the truth, they are then killed. It cannot be. So.
All right, Lucky. I just want us, Mfundo, quickly to go to the National Executive Committee member of the African National Congress, Mr. David Mahlobo. Sir, thank you so much for your time. In the main, what is the seriousness of this threat? As I was speaking to the young man, Lucky Zita, he's saying Muzi Manyati was not the first one to be killed here. How serious is this issue of political killings in this province?
Mpumalanga, as we lead in the ANC in peace and stability, is one of those provinces, including KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, Free State, Northwest. There's high levels of political intolerance within the ANC and outside the ANC. This area of Mkondo municipality is one of the areas where a number of comrades have been threatened. The municipality is not functional and communities are living in fear here. And these guys have an audacity where in town you brutally maim someone during the daylight. And our view is that the police must rise to the occasion. They must rise to the occasion so that those who are perpetrators, they need to be brought into book. But political parties themselves, including our own, the ANC, must deal with these levels of intolerance, ill-discipline and hooliganism, because we cannot continue to afford where people, their right to associate with any political organization and their issues of beliefs, then they are actually being taken out. And today, we are going to be voicing our dissatisfaction with the law enforcement agencies, because in this small town of Piet Retief, the response by the law enforcement agencies is not the same as in other areas. Here they know who this guy killed, Comrade Muzi. There's footage, there's evidence. They fail not to activate that high-level task team and act speedily. This assassin is going to be removed. What if they kill those who are the planners? They remove him. And when they remove him, then there's not going to be any case. We want that man to be arrested, not only the man, but the architects behind these particular killings.
Yeah. Mr. Matobo, is there hope, though, that the killers of Manyati would be arrested? I mean, we're still dealing with the killing of Mr. Jimmy Muhlala, who was the speaker of Mbombela municipality, who it's known that he was exposing corruption with regard to the construction of this 2010 stadia construction there. Such issues, are they given priority, particularly at the investigation level within the police, and as you are serving, although in the ANC, within the Peace and Stability Committee?
We have been assured by the leadership of the police, led by Comrade Begicele and Comrade Castle Matale, that they are prioritizing these issues. But our view is that there are conditions that must be eliminated. You'll find certain elements within the police services, especially in the local areas here, not having the kind of capacity and capability for issues of the security concern for their own families, not acting. But in this case, when we interacted with the leadership of the police, we know that the investigating officer is not from here. In other words, the issues of the possibility of contamination of this particular case. But the only problem we have is that we think they should have done more. This issue of killing of Comrade Muzi has been known. That has been threatened over quite some time. He has reported these issues. Nothing was done. Even councillors of the ANC that were fired by these municipalities illegally, they were able to get a court order that they must go back. They are being refused to go to the municipality. There is a contempt of court. The police are not acting, including the provincial government must act because the municipality is not working.
All right, Mr. Matlobo, I want to ask you this final question. You're a member of Parliament. Tomorrow, Parliament is going to be discussing this report on Phala Phala. And we have already heard the national chairperson of your party saying that as members of Parliament, you must toe the party line, meaning that you must reject that particular the proposal to have that report debated. What would be your view there, considering that on the one hand you have a responsibility to look for the interest of the country constitutionally, so you have that responsibility. What's going to be the approach? What would you prefer to see happening tomorrow?
When I sit in the NEC, the matter was discussed. We are not going to go to Parliament and behave as we are just voting for cadres there. We apply our minds. When the NEC took this decision that we are not going to support the report, it was not on the basis that we are being dismissive. What we said, the report has very serious gaps, and those gaps are very fundamental. And then secondly, we also wanted to indicate that we respect the path we chose of the constitutional democracy. His Excellency the President has chosen the path he has chosen to go for the review. We respect that particular issue. Therefore, when we go there, as the leadership of the ANC and members of Parliament in particular, we will support the decision that has been taken by the ANC that we are not going to support this report on the basis that there are fundamental issues that are very cogent reason that those that will be debating will put it into the nation. Ultimately, individually will then be able to vote, but at the very same time, the message is clear. No one in the ANC is not going to account. No one is above the law. But if there are other issues that are there, let's not dismiss them, that people who have no right to exercise those rights under this constitutional democracy.
And the members of the ANC, members of Parliament who belong to the ANC, who were to vote for this particular report to defy the decision of the ANC National Executive Committee. If they were to be taken through disciplinary action, would you support such, or would you say leave them because they used their conscience?
At this stage, Moloko, what we can say is that I respect the members of the ANC. They were deployed in parliament. This is the highest kind of elite cadres of our movement. They have their political consciousness and schooling in the ANC. They understand that the ANC does not necessarily give them decisions that are not debated. We have debated the matter, and I respect that they will actually abide by the decision of the ANC. But if there are those that will not be able to abide by the decision of the ANC, the organization will look at those particular issues when that particular time comes. At this point, there is no indication that certain members of the ANC are not going to respect the decision of the highest decision-making body, the NEC.
All right, Mr. David Matrobo, member of the National Executive Committee, thank you so much for your time. As I said, Mfundo, the members of the ANC rank and file, as you saw them walking, they are proceeding towards the offices of the local municipality. We understand that they will also hand over a memorandum of grievances to one member of the Provincial Executive Council who's been sent by the Premier, Refilwe Mtsweni, but also the police. And they, as Mr. Matrobo was saying here, are worried that it's been too long. There doesn't seem to be headway in terms of the investigation that would lead to the arrest of the killers of Mr. Manyati.